California State Route 39. What an interesting road. I had the chance to drive this beautiful highway on my recent trip to Los Angeles. It was my very first time in Los Angeles and my first time along Southern California's coast there, and it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. These are the San Gabriel Mountains. It's the mountain range just northeast of Los Angeles. It's one of the transverse ranges of Southern California, and they are beautiful. They have great relief, meaning they're very tall from mountain peak to valley floor, and they are deeply dissected by drainages, by streams, by runoff, and that's something that reminded me of a different mountain range. Actually, basically my entire experience here, I felt like I was in Appalachia or like the Hunger Games, District 12, and let me explain. So number one, the mountains here share similar physical characteristics to, let's say, the Great Smoky Mountains in Tennessee, North Carolina. Because, yes, they are deeply dissected by these drainages, and that adds to the similar shape and feel that I get from them. You have to look past the obvious fact that this is a semi-arid landscape, and the Smoky Mountains are like a lush jungle. But anyways, another thing was, as you got further and further up the road, because this road climbs up into the San Gabriel Mountains, as you look back and you get the views, you see that each mountain ridge and each valley is a different shade of blue and gray. And in the Smoky Mountains, that would be generally caused by evapotranspiration from the vegetation there. But here, I think it was mainly due to the LA haze. And that haze was causing a pretty magnificent view off into the distance. But that wasn't the only thing that reminded me of Appalachia. Another thing was the bounty of reservoirs and dams. That reminded me of Tennessee or North Carolina because, as you might know, there are plenty of reservoirs back east. But here in Southern California, these were interesting. So here's the Morris Reservoir. This one was decently full. It looked like it was below the maximum lake level it had achieved at one point, but there was still water in it, which was good. But then there was the San Gabriel Reservoir, which is the next upstream reservoir just north of the Morris Reservoir. And they must be doing some kind of work here. It's completely empty. It looks like they've quarried that mountainside for rock to construct the dam or something like that, because this reservoir was empty. Part of me is thinking that they emptied this reservoir into the lower reservoir so they could do some work on this upper reservoir. I'm not sure, though. That's just my theory. But because I was able to tell that the lower reservoir, Morris Reservoir, was higher than its average lake level, I guess you could say, it made me think that they released water into that lower reservoir because it had flooded this forest, basically. It had flooded these trees. So at some point, this area was dry, but not anymore. So as you continue up the road, though, you get a really good feel of a post-apocalyptic landscape. It feels like you're in District 12 of the Hunger Games or something, because the infrastructure surrounding this road is extremely dilapidated. The signs that you can read tell you about the extreme fire danger and the debris flows from flash flooding off of burn scars and things like that. So it just feels like in general, natural disasters are taking over this area, reclaiming it back to Mother Earth or something like that. As well as, you could get an earthquake here. This is California. So in general, it feels very post-apocalyptic. There was nobody here. That's the thing. This road was so silent. Every place you pull off, every parking lot you park in, there's nobody there. And that's shocking to me because this place is right outside of a major metropolitan area, and there really was nobody there. So it felt like it was abandoned to some degree. And a lot of the signs, not even just the signs, a lot of the scenery, a lot of the trees and stones in the area had graffiti on them. So that also added to the whole, like, something happened here and now something else is happening here. How vague. Anyways, once you get to the top, it's a beautiful view. And I call this the top because this is the furthest you can go. And let me explain. This is information that I did not know when I was driving this road, but let me just quote Wikipedia here for a sec. Okay, so State Route 39 travels through Orange and Los Angeles counties. Its southern terminus is at the Pacific Coast Highway in Huntington Beach, and its northern terminus is at Islip Saddle on the Angeles Crest Highway. But, and this is a big fat but, the biggest you might have ever seen. Its northernmost 4.5-mile segment has been closed to the public since 1978 due to a massive mud and rock slide. It would cost a total of $100 million to repair the road. And let me just say that cost is definitely higher today because of inflation. But this is not inconsequential. The northernmost 4.5-mile segment of State Route 39 is the segment of the road that connects it with another major highway, which is the Angeles Crest Highway, State Route 2. So I didn't know that driving up this road. My plan was to connect with State Route 2, the Angeles Crest Highway, and loop back to Los Angeles. But there was no indication along any part of the road, no signage, no nothing, that the end of this road was closed. And not even on Google Maps, because I discovered this road on Google Maps, just looking on Google Maps. Google Maps didn't even say that this segment of the road was closed. So I had no knowledge of this. So I made it all the way to this point, and I couldn't go any further, but that's okay. It was a beautiful road. I will say, though, that there have been various efforts to try to repair the destroyed section of the road, but to no avail. Whether it's because of environmental reviews that keep getting bogged down or interagency battles with funding and things like that, they've never gotten around to it. But come on, this is it seems to me like a pretty major highway near a metropolitan area in a pretty high value mountain range that hasn't been repaired since 1978? Anyways, just before the road gets cut off, there's a turnoff that takes you to Crystal Lake. Crystal Lake is not a lake. At one point, maybe it was a lake. I guess it was a lake. It was a crystal clear lake that was filled to the brim. Not anymore. It's a dirty little pond full of algae. And there was a sign that said no swimming. I don't think anybody's going to swim here unless you're Shrek or an ogre or you want to get giardia or flesh-eating bacteria, because the lake was not a lake, but the infrastructure here was a little bit better. It almost looked like the stonework was Civilian Conservation Corps style, like from the New Deal era, because that was really well done, that stone staircase outside. And let me just give a quick shout out to that giant pine cone I found. I don't know what exactly kind of pine trees they are here, but those are the biggest pine cones I've seen in my life. So, in summary, this is an interesting road. It's California State Route 39. It's a road that goes to nowhere and everywhere at the same time because it abruptly ends without warning. And it goes everywhere because you get limitless views of the San Gabriel Mountains. And in my opinion, limitless opportunities for recreation. There's an off-highway vehicle area in the San Gabriel Canyon. I mean, the services and infrastructure is not that great. That's like the one drawback. But I still think that there's plenty of things to see and do along this road. So I really enjoyed that road. California State Route 39, California's forgotten highway perhaps. I don't know, you tell me. But either way, thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked it.